Yo, what up, guys? You know, back at it again. I'm back at Taps and Caps in Louisville. I'm about to hang out with Roman. He was the tap room manager, but now he's doing bigger and better things, making commercials. So all the fire-ass commercials you see on Taps and Caps page, he's been making them. And I really like him, and that's what I want to talk to him about. And plus beer, and see what else we can talk about. All right, man, so peace. Let's jump right into it. Salud, brother.
Cheers.
Woo! That is
yeah.
delicious. Now, I only ever remember what I'm drinking. I know one's Manhattan Project
Double Half-Life.
and one's Celestial, and I'm assuming this is
Electromagnetism?
yeah, and double Half-Life.
Yeah.
Goddamn, you're good.
Right?
Well, Roman, with that being said, thank you for coming back on the podcast.
Absolutely,
It's been over a year now.
Yeah, it was the old studio down in Dallas, like in the
basement.
death garage. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely. So we were working. They moved to a nicer studio. They have
Okay.
a nicer studio off Mockingbird, right next to Outfit Brewing.
Okay.
They're like
Nice.
down the street from them, and it's a really beautiful studio. Like Ziggy's still great. They all still
That's
really
I
helpful.
see From the Hip.
Yeah,
Records over there with
he
Ziggy.
records over there,
'Cause, yeah,
yeah.
I saw him on there. I was like, oh, I know him.
Yeah. So this, like I said, the studio's great. I just felt like it didn't work for our content.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like now you can travel. Now you're portable.
Yeah, we're portable. We can work around people's schedule and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Get you on. And then another thing we were talking about, we hung out for a bottle share last week.
Yeah, Three Nations.
That was that was a shit show.
From what I remember.
Yeah, that was a shit show because by the end of it, I was taking whiskey shots.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not saying who got me the whiskey shots, but I was taking whiskey shots.
Yeah.
And it was a shit show.
I
Me, George.
100% agree.
I had to brew the next day or attempt to brew the next day.
Really?
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, I struggled real hard Saturday morning. We were out at Martin House Friday night before we went to Three Nations. We
Yeah.
hang out with them for that depth charge release, and that was. I've had better ideas, but it was a lot of fun, which was good. Like it was good hanging out with like everybody. Like Sydney put on like that badass fucking bottle share, man. Like
Yeah, man.
that was a lot of fun. Like got to see a lot of people that like I don't always see like working all the time. Like I don't get to see everybody, so
Yeah.
it's cool to like see everybody like in one place and just kind of hang out and play catch up as well as like sharing beers left and right.
And just play in general, like life conversations, like because it's not like we don't try not to talk to people, but it's
Yeah.
hard to talk and catch up with family life and things like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I know Misty and Carl was there. Of course, Gavin hung out for a little bit,
Yeah.
but he was working hard.
Oh yeah. I think he was back there cleaning tanks or something,
Yeah.
like brewing and everything too.
Gavin's always working,
Yeah.
and so also the new Haze was pretty legit.
I was drinking that, was it the passion fruit?
Yeah,
It was a passion fruit, not Kolsch. I think it was just passion fruit pale or something like that.
I think it was that was on tap there.
Yeah.
That was delicious. But now the new Haze Wizard Haze,
I haven't tried the new one yet. I
Oh.
tried 9, but I know 10's about to drop.
he gave us samples of 10
Oh,
there
damn, nice.
before he left, and I was like, nah, that's good, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that being on the market. But what we talked about there, which I'm super excited about, and I've been yelling, I feel like I've been yelling about this on the podcast for a little bit too long now,
Mm-hmm.
is about good commercials to try to get people into craft beer.
Yeah.
And you guys, mostly you, in the help of your team, working on making better commercial videos, promoting Tap the Cabs and beer releases that you have coming here.
Yeah.
And what brought that around?
So for me, is like, it's less focus on brand centric and more focus on knowledge and what's coming up and what's out there. I feel like breweries right now are struggling to get the idea of their product or a new beer or a new cider or anything out to the mass market unless you have huge money behind you to put up a billboard like Deep Ellum and Carbach and everybody like putting out big platform kind of advertising. I feel like a lot of breweries aren't doing a whole lot. And I know Jeremy at 903 is putting out his weekly videos of like all the new releases where he's giving flavor profiles and everything going on.
Yeah.
For me is every time I create something, it's something that I would want to watch, something that is going to grab my attention, even if it's only for 10 or 15 seconds. Like, what is this that's going to get me like involved in this beer? And then I'll read about it below, kind of thing. So like we just did one. I filmed one way too many times for Austin East Cider's watermelon cider, which
that's right.
I didn't think I would love it, and I'm absolutely in love with it.
Last week, or you haven't dropped it yet?
Yeah, it was last weekend. Yeah. And it was like I went through way too many watermelons. And watermelons are not cheap, but like to get the right shot where the camera didn't shake on the tripod or anything like that, like it took us quite a few tries to get it. But when we got it, editing it all together, I'm happy with how it turned out, and it's a 10-second clip, maybe 15 seconds.
Yeah.
But it's just something new, something fun.
But see, my thing about it, and that's why I really appreciate it. That's why I made sure when I saw you, I had to talk to you about it. I was like, listen, man, that's something that we need more people to do. The big bowl is nice, man. The thing about craft beer is, if you're into craft beer as a guy, or you're slightly into drinking, it's easy just to pop up and see like, oh, it's a new beer, I might swing by. Yeah. My thing is, how do we get the general market, A, people not into beer, B, and I've talked to Sydney, and I feel like I sound like I'm being sexist, but how do you get more women involved? Because women are not as interested in looking for a shitty brewery and coming and hanging out there. There's no events there, there's nothing going on there.
Yeah.
And not saying women aren't interested in beer, that's not what I'm saying, but it's just, most breweries look bad. They're just a place to make beer and hang out, typically for guys.
Yeah.
And I don't have no problem going to a dive bar, or a brewery that looks like a dive bar. I'm drink there, but I'm into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think that's like the old mentality too of like, the DFW breweries and brew pubs is it's always warehouse setup because of zoning and everything they have to get away from, and like the tap room is an afterthought of like, I can also sell to the public. Let's make it somewhat comfortable, picnic tables, standing room TVs, whatever, and you could see and stand around the brewing equipment. And I think if you look at other markets, like even in Chicago and especially like LA and Colorado and stuff like that, like the tap rooms are more, they're vibe oriented. Like, what is it like to hang out, and is it a fun place to go that also has brewing equipment for people to kind of see what's going on in the background?
Yeah, that's what I'm really interested in, and just get more of the market involved.
Yeah.
But make people follow suit on the videos you're making. Are they tough to make? Yeah. But it gives eyes to the market.
And it lets people know what's coming up and what's out and what's new and what's hot and trendy. Like we just did one Left Hand, surprisingly. Like I haven't had a bunch of their beers recently that I've been like, oh man, this is amazing. And they did that Push Pop one, and immediately like my creative brain was like,
good? Yeah.
Dude, that tastes like straight up orange. Like it was cool how they did it. They call it just like a Citra Ale. Like it's not a pale ale, it's not an IPA. It's just like a citrus ale, but it was cool because immediately seeing the artwork, I'm like, marketing, like, what can we do with it? And it's Push Pops.
Yeah.
Like, I ran to the store, and I'm like, we're filming tonight. Like, sorry if you got plans. Like, let's do this right now. Like, to get it out of the way and, like, create.
Yeah, of course. And I just, like I said, I really, really appreciate you doing that. And I hope people follow suit. I hope I follow suit because I got to be even though I'm trying to get people, I want the brewers and the sales rep to think about things like that, is that I also got to do it for my own brand.
Yeah.
But it's just, how to get more people in the market, and doing interesting videos like that is going to get people.
I think that's one way, because a lot of people are very visual and on Instagram and on Facebook, and you're just scrolling through stuff. So what's going to make you stop and catch your eye? And is it a selfie? Is it a picture of somebody's food? Maybe not. But if you see a motion with a video of a beer and a watermelon exploding in the background, like you may turn the sound on and you may stop and check it out.
Or if it might be a after effects of exploding watermelon with a beer in the middle, you might stop for that picture.
Yeah.
But it's just always bringing something to the table as far as trying to make it eye-catching and get more people into market. I know people are worried about like saturation of the DFW beer market or just beer market in general. But listen, craft beer doesn't take that much of the market. Like, it sounds like we take a lot of it. Like you run out of customers, but you run out of the local craft beer customers. You need to extend that to the rest of the population. Which
I think the way we see it here is the same thing with the tap list here. Is it's no longer tailored towards the craft beer like nerd per se. Like you can get brand new crazy badass barrel aged beers any corner now. Like most bars are not even beer bars, and they're getting like good limited stuff, like supporting local breweries, and they're able to get in. Like I know Manhattan dropping like the different Bikini Atolls, and like they're dropping this really cool stuff, but they spread the love, which is rad. So you could live on any side of town and get this awesome beer now. So what is it that's going to bring like either the regular beer drinker or somebody who's new to beer out?
Exactly.
And I think that's like, especially like with Sydney and like the Brew Squad is like,
shout out to
the
Sydney.
Bottle shares and like everything that they're doing with it is like, hey, it's tailored towards come and try some new beer, but it never feels like exclusionary. Like I never feel like anybody couldn't just walk up and start talking to somebody and be like, hey, what are you doing? Can I try this beer? Like everybody's very welcoming, especially Three Nations was like, even people that I had never met before were like very like open and, hey, this is who I am, this is who I work for, and like let's just drink a beer and have fun together.
Exactly. No, that's a beautiful thing. Listen, there's so many different things going on behind the scenes that you may not see that may affect the overall sales and market, but bringing people together and bringing people in, it's happening behind the scenes. You got, like you said, Sydney and DFW Brew Squad doing it, but I feel like Jerry and TX_beer does the same thing, promoted local beer.
Dallas Beer Squad, Sean and Excel, those dudes have been doing it, killing it for a long time
years,
now,
but now Sean's moved over to 12% drip, not because he wants to like get away from the Dallas Beer Squad. It's all collaboration together, but the 12% drip is bringing more of like, okay, let's get some like popping swag.
He found
out
a gap in the market that nobody's taking care
There's
of.
no beautiful like swag. Like his hats are off the chain.
Yep.
Like I guarantee Dom, shout out to Dom, got that idea.
Yep.
Yeah, got the idea of this hat from Sean. Like this is a badass hat. It's one of my favorite hats.
Oh yeah.
But he bringing something like clothes to wear, like I'll wear this hat. People gonna be like, what is that? A new brewery popping up in North Richmond Hills. Same thing with 12% drip when they make collabs with Celestial and you guys.
Yep.
You guys making collabs.
I was just gonna say like we got a new one coming out.
Yeah. Hey, but he's pushing out the cup. You guys pushing out the cup, and the cup looks legit. Like it's a fucking badass cup.
It's different. It's something that nobody's doing. Like we don't see it locally. He may see it like because he travels all around the country.
California,
so, like he
Vegas,
sees other people doing this kind of cool stuff. He's like, well, let's put our own like Texas version of this out.
Exactly.
And like who's going to be a part of it? So I know he's working with other breweries and like growler shops and bars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's cool that like we came up with this 3-way collab with Celestial and like, hey, like let's get 12% in on this and like let's make this happen.
No, exactly. But there's so many different things to try to get people involved in craft beer, and I want more people involved in craft beer.
Oh yeah.
As far as consumer-wise, even people maybe making more beer. Maybe make more beer.
Yeah.
But just more people involved will make beer better.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's right now. I think instead of battling each other in the beer world, like breweries shouldn't be worried about other breweries. We should be looking at like wine and liquor and the things that would take away from beer versus like those are going to be the two other things people drink other than beer. So why are we competing locally or even regionally with other breweries? Why are we not competing against the wine market or the liquor market? And how do we tailor to them? And I know some breweries like even Peticolas and 903 again doing like that Friday Slide, like that cocktail-inspired style beer. Like, can you get those beer drinkers over because it's a 15% beer?
Yeah.
And it's maybe cheaper than a cocktail.
You know, Legal Draft dropped the old-fashioned beer, which was pretty legit. I was really excited. Listen, I will always say this about Legal Draft. I was not a big fan of their beers, but hanging out with the owners and talking to them and learning their plan on what they were trying to do, I fully support them. Nice. They wanted to be the market fast. They wanted to pay back all the loans they took out, which only took like 1 or 2 loans out. And I don't want them to speak for them, but they took 1 or 2 big loans out to get their business off the ground. Yeah. They paid that back, and now you know what? They're making beers they want to make.
Yeah,
They're
free
making
reign
now. They don't have to worry about trying to pay back their bills. They just got to pay their rent and all that stuff, and now they make what kind of beers they want to make. So I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know all that.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's so many different things going on. You don't have to fight each other for what little craft beer market there is.
Yeah. No.
Just try to expand out.
People are worried about shelf space, which is cool, but like we were talking even before we turned on the video, is like that whole beer to go thing now is like breweries being able to sell direct to consumer. Like a lot of breweries aren't going to be super like worried about shelf space now. Is like
they shouldn't.
It opens up like
exactly.
Like now you don't have to send everything to a Total or a Specs or like Lone Star Beverages and the Whole Foods.
Oh, shout out to Lone Star Beverages. I still haven't done a video there yet. I need to
get Sam on video.
Yeah, all 3 of us. All 4 of us.
That'd be a trip. Yeah. That's we've actually joked many times about starting up a Twitter account and just call it Shit Sam Says.
Yes,
and it's just like the things that he rattles off, like just in the moment.
I've been backing that since you guys mentioned that on the first time he was on a video, almost a year and a half ago.
On the original podcast we did, you guys. Yeah, like it's just sometimes like you just hear him talk and you're just like, did he really? Like, oh, he just said that. Like, I'm about to tweet this. Yeah. But yeah, none of us have actually done it yet. It's a trip though. But yeah, Lone Star Beverages down there. I think it's going on like 13, 14 years now, man. Like, they've been killing it for a minute.
Well, what I like about Rick and why I always have love for Rick is 2 reasons. Rick's always honest. He may come off aggressive to some people, but I appreciate that because he's always honest and let you know where he stands. And it may be aggressive, fuck it, but at least you know.
Yeah.
You know. Second thing is he backs up what he says. When he was telling the stories of how he was trying to get the Lone Star Beverages off the ground, he'll drive to markets and pick up beer and drive back the same day to put it in his store.
Yep.
And that's pretty badass, especially being in a market that there was no real hint of growth of craft beer. He just did it out of the love that he wanted.
Yeah, you have to force it.
Yeah, out of the love that he loved craft beer and he wanted to push it out, you know, and he knew it was badass beer. It wasn't local yet, but he went out and got it. And I respect those 2 things, his honesty and his go-getter attitude.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Now, it might backfire sometimes where he might piss people off, but fuck it. Who cares? Piss people off. Who gives a fuck?
I think the big thing there is like there's a lot of people that don't know him on a personal level, and like if he says something like, we know it's in jest and we know it's just joking around, and like just the way that he talks is just very, like you said, is very honest, which it's admirable, because there's a lot of people that are like, they will bite their tongues for the sake of saving face, or bite their tongues for the sake of like they don't want to like rub toes with anybody the wrong way, versus like it's business at the end of the day. Like we're talking about something that's like we all love.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing personal. Like there's no personal attacks. There's no name calling or any of that bullshit like that. It's just like,
that's one thing I've never seen from Rick. He's never personally said fuck these people.
Yeah, no, it's like,
but he's also never said, you know what, I'm gonna literally take your business. What he says, and funny thing about it, we were talking with George about this. What I love about Rick is he's like, yo, we got the best in the world. We're the best company in the world, and he's gonna say it, and he means it.
Oh yeah, that's the mindset through and through for him.
Yeah, but it rub people the wrong way. But I love it. Fuck it, say it. Yeah. I'm right there behind you. But because that goes of the mentality of him driving down to Houston, going to different markets, going to Arizona, maybe even driving further out, flying out to places, picking up beer for his store. That same mentality built his store, him and his dad's store.
Yep.
Come on, you can't knock that.
No, not at all.
13 years? Come on. There's a reason why they've been around for so long.
It's a matter of respect, and like you either do or you don't, and it's because you either can't keep up and you're jealous, or you respect the shit out of the hustle, and like that's just how it is.
No, I love Rick. When we met each other at Three Nations, he's like, how the fuck you here early? Because I'm always late. He's like, nah, keep it consistent.
Yeah. Like if you're gonna be late all the time.
Yeah.
But it's always like you could be 10 minutes late, you could be 30 minutes late, but like always be late. And like, but that's the whole thing. Is like you never show up to the party first. Like you always show up fashionably late, and that's like you could roll through every time, like fashionably late.
I always say Puerto Rican time, because I was always late.
Yep.
But I've been early lately. I'm really excited about that. I'm like low key happy about that.
Nice.
You know, but I've also been trying to schedule out things in a little bit more in advance.
Planning everything out.
A little bit. I still suck at it. You know.
Practice.
I know. That's why I need Andrew back.
Yeah, where's he been at? I haven't seen him in a minute. I see him in the store every once in a while.
Yeah, he has his third kid, man. Him and his wife just had their third kid. Yeah. So busy.
Dad duty. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So super excited about that. Love Drew. He'll be back whenever he wants. You know.
Nice. Just holding the reins until he decides to come back
whenever
through. He's got the time, man.
Yeah, but even that, it'd be a different capacity. You know, once he had his second kid, our focus on the podcast changed because he got a second kid. Now he's on his third kid. Of course, you know.
Yeah.
I'm here for him. If I was making money consistently, it'd be a different story. You know, like I have something to help him with, and then we'll have a reason to keep pushing it. You know, but right now it's very inconsistent, so we're just hanging out.
Start getting like a little sponsor window right here, like.
Yeah. So we were geeking out talking about.
Yeah, so I can talk about Star Wars and dogs eternally. So
yeah. Let's get back to business.
Yeah.
So you've been around the game for a while. One thing I do love behind the scenes, Rick honestly talks about how much he respects your opinion. So I want to get your opinion about craft beer and the changes you've seen in the last couple of years, especially here in the local market.
I think it's coming on interesting times. Like even over the last 5-6 years, like since I moved to Texas and like learned the Texas market versus like the Midwest market, like there are a lot of similarities and there are a lot of huge differences. In particular, like Beer to Go, like this new one that's coming through is like there's not a lot of innovation that's coming through on like the brewer's side. Like people are making new styles all the time, and like the Brut is the response to the hazy, and it's like it's more of like a reactionary kind of thing. Like, oh, this happens, like let's react to it, versus like kind of paving a new path. And that's where like new breweries like Turning Point and Celestial, like huge shout out to Celestial. Like that's what I'm drinking now. Like his beers, like in general, like you can tell they're very thought out. Same thing, Jeremy from Manhattan. Like that dude, like I would share my home brews with Jeremy and like, hey man, like what do you think? What do you like let's break down my water profile, like what does this look like, and like really nerd out with like him. But I know like they're not willing to put out beer to the market that they will not stand behind through and through.
1,000%, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of like, not saying any like breweries are not intentional with putting beers out. There's a lot of like afterthoughts, like oh shit, like we didn't think about that, or the response to it, like there's been times that I've asked myself, and it's not just local, it's breweries like that I get in trade, where I tried, I'm like, did anybody try this before it left the brewery? Like, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
So I think like the changes that are coming now are going to be good for the growth in the market. Is like there's more competition, yes, there's less shelf space, cool, like there's always going to be an excuse, but like it forces people to make better beers now. And it forces a growth in an industry that like hasn't been forced to really grow until somebody like these new people are coming along and saying, hey, I want to like master this like hazy style. Like I want to just knock it out of the park. Or like I mean, like, I'll give huge props to Brain Dead. Like, Andrew brewing, like, these Pilsners and the lagers, like, in general, like, dude, I will crush his over pretty much any brewery, any day. Like, he did a Polish Pilsner, which is what we brought in the last podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I will drink the shit out of his Pilsners.
I love Pilsner. My favorite Pilsner of all time is Necessary Evil, though.
Nice.
Like, that's,
And it's just like they don't get much respect. They're coming back into the light, like
I
the
feel
light
like,
right
I feel
now,
like
which
with
is
brewers
cool.
and people into beer are getting back into Pilsners because you can't drink I would try my best to drink a 12% style
Yeah, no.
plus all day, but, you know, I might fall down.
Yeah, like that. After 3 or 4 beers, you're like, I can't keep hanging out. Like, I'm just done. No, but I think growth in the market is good. I think I'm a very big proponent of like competition in general, and like not viewing like your neighbors as competition or not viewing other breweries as competition, but like the outside market. Like, hey, what is this guy doing over here in this state, or what is this team doing over here, or like what are people doing that Texas doesn't have, and how can I do it, or how can I make it better? And I think that for us is like, I think that's helped propel Rick to where he's at too. Is like, what is everybody else not doing that I think the industry needs?
Yeah.
And I think that's something too that like brewers are now kind of like getting in this collective of like what is not being done and how do I satisfy this need, like Turning Point especially, like first brewery to like drop hazy after hazy after hazy, and like they just pack that place out
Turning
day
Point,
in and day out.
I mean, one thing I will always say, I haven't done a podcast with them, but one thing I will always say for the rest of my life is Turning Point forced the bigger craft beer market to try to innovate. God damn it, I'm saying the word wrong, but
Innovate. Yeah.
Thank you. Innovate, because it was just stagnant for a while. Very few people pulled out a barrel aged style. Very few people tried new, different beers. Just put it in something that they liked. Maybe added some different profiles, but no big changes. But Turning Point came around. Then Tubbs changed and did the DDA series. Changed their DDA series.
Yeah.
Turning Point came out. Mark Petticolas, that whole crew made a hazy IPA.
Yep.
Come on. Turning Point came out. A bunch of people now making hazy IPAs just to try to innovate. People making fruit beers now. People trying to do different things. 903 changed their things and making slush beers now because they trying to be different too.
Yeah.
Like they changed the whole perception of the market and try to say, you know what? We can't just follow the recipes that we've been having. Let's try to fuck it up and change it up and be different.
Instead of reacting to everything else that's going on, like let's push this like boundary of what we can and can't do. And like even the dudes down at Ingenious, like they found a way.
Ingenious.
Like, dude, I don't even know how they are doing it. Like
Ingenious is not that old.
they're putting cheesecake in beer. Yeah, I don't know if it's flavoring. I don't know if it's real cheesecake. But
I don't know, but it's
I've
delicious.
tried a handful and they're amazing.
They're
yeah,
delicious. That
the 10% beer that drinks like chocolate milk, and I'm like, okay, like yeah, like watch me gain fucking stupid pound, like 50 pounds of weight.
And
like,
they got I've seen pictures of their place. They're so small.
Yeah.
They're so small.
and they're killing it, which is
Yeah.
good. Like it's rad. Like we're finally seeing some of their stuff here and there.
Yeah.
Like love seeing them come through. Like the Spindle Tap coming into town. Like it's really cool to see like these breweries, like even in our same state, that are like killing it in their markets, like start to transfer out. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to see like when is Turning Point, like Tubbs is down in Austin with their DDH and stuff like that too. Like when are some of these other breweries going to start like covering the state like as they grow?
Fair enough.
And force like local to get better too, because like Spindle Tap drops, like what's to stop like any other brewery now from like marketing a hazy and just like killing it, like getting better and better and better.
Marketing, distribution, like there's so many different avenues to try to kill it, but I just like it, and it's definitely, I feel like I'm lucky, and I've always been saying this, I feel like I just came to craft beer at the right time, that I fell in love with the craft beer people in the community, and then they boomed at the same time.
Yeah.
I kind of caught the wave as it was going up, and it's still going up,
Yeah, there's a lot of people that think it's plateaued. Honestly, I don't think there's
I
a
don't see
plateau
it.
right now. Like
I don't see it.
I think there's a time for innovation. Beer to Go is going to bring out some like
I think there's a plateau
big
for-
players, big heavy hitters, like to try some new stuff that's like, hey, brew pub only or brewery
Yeah.
only kind of thing. Like I said, like this whole idea of competition being bad is like,
No.
I think it's wrong. I think it's looking at it like, you don't need to be competing against each other. You need to be competing with each other.
Yeah.
And like, hey, like, yeah, we're homies. Like, how can you make better beer? Like, that's like hanging out with Walker down at Oak Cliff. Like, he used to work with us for
Yeah,
the
shout out
first
to
4
Walker.
years. Like, dude is like murdering it down at Oak Cliff right now. Like, those guys are stepping it up huge. Like, Joel and Todd and Jacob. Like, I know Jacob just left, but like, still, like, those dudes, like, they had a different vision for it.
Yeah, I found out about Jacob leaving.
Yeah. So like, good for him. Like, good on him. Like, supporting family, supporting like what he wants to do, and like continue to grow in like a similar industry, but kind of like just like a leg off of it kind of thing. But
I
like,
mean, he's still gonna help out. He said he's gonna help out. From what I'm hearing through the grapevine, he's still gonna help out Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
Get some barrels wherever he's working at.
yeah, and
now.
that's rad. Like, it's cool that it's like relationship driven and like, hey, there's no like ill will or bad blood or anything like
Yeah.
that. Like, I just think it's one of those times where it's, hey, like, it's time to switch some shit up. Like, stop thinking how everything used to work, and like, let's figure out new ways that things can work. I mean, like we did the elixirs last year, which was all summer last year.
Was that Brutal? Was that a collab with Brutal? Or
No. So like elixirs were all in house. So like there's a lot of people that like I caught a lot of shit online because like I was very coy and I didn't want to tell people how we were doing it because why would I tell you how I'm doing something brand new? Like I'm not here to like make sure everybody else's business succeeds. Like I want to do something different and push the market and see how it does.
So I apologize for lying on the last podcast. I was like, I think they did a collab with Brutal.
Dude, everybody talked about like it was all hearsay. It was like, oh, it's like you and Martin House, you and Brutal. Oh, are you taking beer from here? Are you getting beer from here? And it's like I just didn't say anything. I was just like, just come and drink it. The goal is to like find a market that's like not touched right now, and nobody's making these crazy fruit forward juice style beers.
Are we bringing back the elixirs?
Yeah. Like we were supposed to do it for Memorial Day, and I've just been so busy that like I haven't gotten time to like come back into like what are new flavors, what do we want to do, like what does the market need. Like we have wintertime elixirs too that are like that I worked on all last winter for like different seasons. It's just a matter of like what can we do, when can we do it. And I think like 903 stepping up and like doing these slushies is like it's a whole different take on that style. Like people like the Answer Brew Pub like out in Virginia, like those dudes are murdering it, like with all these different like the juices and the Andal series, and like it's a Randall kind of thing. But seeing them do that and like Manhattan coming out, like Manhattan stepping like way in left field and like doing like Necessary Evil, and like they came from like a hazy market and dropped like this badass Pilsner. And like now all of a sudden like I hear it in the grapevine they're working on like another like staple style. Like it's appealing to more drinkers. And
it's appealing. See what I like about it, what people who say this industry is plateauing, is people who making traditional beers. Like, shout out to Four Bullets, right? They want to make English style beers. They had no, from outside looking in, from when I'm looking at business plan, in my opinion, they look like they had no, saying like, I want to take over the market. We're going to make the beers we're like, and people come hang out at our small brewery, people hang out at small breweries. As long as we're alive, we're making the beers we want. And they didn't make a canned beer until their 4th anniversary. They canned their like lager or blonde they were making. And that's it. But they're making their traditional English style beers. Yeah, that market's plateaued. That market is not booming anytime soon. But they're not mad about that.
They know who they are. I think that's a big thing too, is self-awareness. And like we were talking about Gary Vee, like right before like we kind of cut and stopped and paced and everything like that. Like I think the biggest thing that like I push like not only into Rick but into the staff in general is like you don't build a skyscraper, you don't build your empire by tearing down other people's shit. And that's something that like for us here is like me trying to drive into everybody like, hey, like you don't need to talk shit about somebody else to like build yourself up. Like you don't build a building by somebody else's being knocked down. Like I think that's a huge bullshit theory. I think old school style, I was actually thinking about this afternoon in the shower. I'm like, man, I wonder if we're gonna go this direction, because like I get very passionate and worked up, and like I'll start to get loud, and just like that's just what happens when I get excited and passionate in general. But it's like the people who think that like business still needs to be done like negatively and like pessimistically and like being assholes, like that's not the way business is done anymore. Like that's the way it used to get done, and you used to get your shit by being an asshole, but you lose respect a little bit every time. Every time you curse somebody out, every time you tell somebody to go fuck themselves, like you lose that respect until somebody's just like, I'm tired of dealing with you. And like that sucks. Like I don't see any need to be negative to any human being for any reason, especially in an industry where it's a community-driven focus kind of thing. Is like, you don't need to be negative to get your point across. Like, if somebody wants to fuck me over, cool, like that's on you. That's not on me. Like, you have to live with that, not me. Like, how I react is on me. So if I'm an asshole back to you, I gotta deal with that karma now. But
no, it's true.
If I can just take it and roll with it, like, hey, it's water off my back, like I get it, like there was a fuck up or you intentionally screwed me, whatever it is, like I don't care anymore. Like, it's done, it's over.
Yeah, and listen,
there's no reason to dwell.
As long as if you're not going out your way to intentionally hurt me, if we fuck up or you're mad at me for something I said or something I did, or something you did, and we get mad at each other, fuck it, you know. That's the reason why I changed my show from being just a drunk show and hanging out with my friends to being more craft beer focused, is because the community aspect of craft beer is the best. The way everybody's competing against each other, yes. Is there some heated debates behind closed doors and upset about certain actions? Yeah, it happens. But overall, talking about Oak Cliff and Walker, Oak Cliff's industry party, everybody was there.
Yeah.
Judah was there, Dom was there, you guys were there, bunch of other breweries were there. I'm skipping names right now. Petty Coast was there. A bunch of breweries.
Yeah, everybody supports everybody.
Martin House
Yeah.
was there. Like a bunch of people was there saying, okay, it's a new brewery. They have an industry night. Let's go check them out, hang out with them. You know, and same thing with Turning Point. Same thing with Celestial.
Yep.
Celestial became the hangout for a while, and I think it's still a hangout for a lot of beer places. I had one date there. I'll never do it again because I ended up talking to all the craft beer people versus my date.
Yeah, you don't take dates to craft beer spots, especially like if you know everybody in there. Like you don't mess with that. Like it's not
Or
worth
people
it.
that want to, like, we kind of know of each other, because I'm knowing that not everybody knows me, but I see breweries out and about, and I want to make sure, like, hey man, I do want to do a podcast with you guys. Like, what's your schedule? Here's my card. And you know what? That's why I love Celestial for that, because every time I go to Celestial, it's someone else different in the industry. My bad.
No, you're good.
It's in the industry, and it's there. I love it, man. Come on, it's the best, and everybody's helping each other.
Yeah.
Matt went over and brewed a beer with Outfit Brewing, a new brewery.
Nice.
You know, and
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he went there to teach them how to make hazies, but I know he worked on a hazy with them, and they made a hazy that was really legit. You know, so it's just I love the craft beer community is the best, and until someone proves me wrong, I think DFW has the best craft beer community.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I think it's one of those things. Like, there's always a few outliers that are gonna like give people a bad name or like represent something poorly. Like taking one person in the sum of a whole is like it's very narrow-minded thinking, and it's not something that is. It's not worth energy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's supposed to be a positive community. So like, what can we do to make it more positive? And like, what you guys are doing, like with the podcast and talking to everybody, and like, there's no biases. It's literally like, tell me about you. What do you do? What do you like? Like. That communal sense of like family almost now, where it's like, hey, everybody kind of knows a little bit about what everybody's doing. Everybody behind their own doors has got their own stuff going on. Like we talked about different events we've got coming up and all that stuff. Like everybody's got their own shit going, but it's never like there should be no maliciousness, no negativity. Like it's not worth it. Like it's not worth the time. It's not worth the energy. Like anybody holding a grudge for any other reason is like you're hurting yourself, man. Like I don't dig it.
So true.
I'm not into it, man.
There's no time for that, and that's one thing I'll agree with you on 1,000%.
Yeah.
Like we got no time for that.
I got too much shit going on in my own world that like I don't need to be focused on like not liking something or somebody
Or
or
going
anything
out my
like
way
that.
to try
Yeah,
to hurt somebody.
No, fuck that. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth like the expenditure of energy. And I think long term, like like right now, like people may like who are positive may be seen as like, oh, you're fools because it's business is business. Like it's business is a tough world. And I'm like, I think in the long term, like it will change. It may take a few years. I think it will change though. I think this whole negative to win will go out the window.
Oh, but that's one thing. Is not in the craft beer market. Now, of course, there are people like you said. There may be outliers, but there are certain people who are just dicks. But where's their value in the market?
Yeah. Well, for every one of them, there's 300 people that are awesome.
They're helping each other.
Yeah.
You could tell in just the pictures of collaboration, the pictures hanging out at different places. You could tell what sales rep or what culture of assholes that's being excluded in the community and no one's helping out.
Yeah, well that's like the outliers, like they force themselves out.
Yeah.
And like that's fine, like you wean yourselves out until like you learn to act with the pack, and if the pack is going positive and you don't want to be positive, like you don't have to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And nobody's upset, nobody's hurt, like you do your own thing, I do my own thing, and we go separate ways. And I think that's like, I think it's cool that people are recognizing
You're right, those people will fail in the next couple of years. But I think the culture is not going to change though.
Yeah.
I don't think the culture is going to change anytime soon. If there's going to be a shift in the culture, it has to be a big catastrophic event that make it like everybody's going to have to come at each other's throats. But I don't see that happening at all.
I think it's going to take one or two people just to start standing up and saying, "Hey, I want to do things differently," and that's going to bring about innovation and change. And that's like I said, like we're talking about these breweries. It's like it takes one, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then all of a sudden, next thing we know, we've got 25 to 30 breweries that are like murdering the market on hazies or fruited sours or pastry stouts or whatever the next hot shit is.
Or even
like,
growler spots like this doing collabs with breweries. Like, come on. I'm not in every market, and I can't follow every market.
Yeah.
I try to look at beers and different hashtags about beer, but in my thread of breweries and stuff like that, I rarely see a tap room place and a brewery collab on a beer. I rarely see on a consistent level a brewery and a competing brewery make a beer together.
Yeah.
Oak Cliff, Brain Dead, Celestial made beers as a collaboration.
Yeah.
Oak Cliff, False Idol, and
Intrinsic. Just that new one, yeah, Three Amigos. Yeah.
They did a collaboration beer. Come on, man. How many markets outside of DFW is doing that? There's not too many people in Houston doing collab beers.
No.
Not too many people
Yeah, I'm
in
not
Austin.
super familiar with them, like either the market.
Neither am I, and that's within the same state. And again, if there's other people out there who could prove me wrong, please show me so I can support them too and talk about them.
Yeah, let's
But
go to Austin. Let's go to Houston. Like, let's
I'm
take
going
this
to-
party on the road.
I'll go to Houston. Well, I need to go to Austin because here's the thing. I don't like Austin beers.
Okay.
And,
Is that just like a homer mentality of like TFW is like home now?
No. Because I like New York beers. I like Massachusetts beers. I like Detroit beers. I've had bomb-ass Chicago beers, and of course have bomb-ass California beers. So I'm always called good beer, and I'm always going to support that. But what Drew used to say, shout out to Drew, we miss you, bro. I need you to come back on the podcast.
Come back, Drew, come back.
Stop having babies.
We miss you, that's
I know
it.
you had your 80th baby, you need to stop it. But no, what he used to say, I just hate Austin, so I don't like the beers. Okay, I do hate Austin as a city.
Okay.
Now, I shouldn't say the city. I just hate some of the culture of Austin. The city
Okay.
itself is fine. Some of the culture of Austin I love, especially the Latino side of Austin. I love all the food out there, so that is my favorite. But there's a majority of Austin I don't like. But there's nothing impressive about beer-wise in Austin.
Okay.
Just the King is, no offense, Just the King, do not like your beers.
Okay.
Do not like them. I will still beer trade them. I will still go out there and pick up some beers because people want to trade for beers out in the East and West Coast. I have no problem doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big fan of Just the King.
Huh, okay.
And there's nothing else in Austin that I've tried recently that I'm like, okay, I need to go to Austin and check it out. But I want to find out. I want to know.
Yeah, so see, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum where I'm like, any chance I can get to go away to Austin for a day or two, like spend a day at Hill Country, like out at Jester King, just to like, even if you don't dig the beers, like the space there, the environment is just like, it's amazing. Like I
Music
love
is
being
great.
out there.
The
Like,
music is great. The Hill Country is absolutely beautiful. Those apartments on there on the side of the hills is absolutely phenomenal. And the houses and stuff like that. Listen,
Oh, yeah.
Austin's beautiful, and I'm not gonna take that away from that. The whole area, Round Rock, and all that, it's phenomenal. Overall, there's parts of it I don't like. More parts of it I don't like versus parts I do like.
Yeah.
But it's preference. It's all preference.
oh yeah, no, 100%. That's beer drinking 101. It's like,
Yeah.
I think that's something like, I actually thought about this too. I thought about texting you before like meeting up today is like, can we talk about Untapped and the idea of beer rating in general?
I hate beer. I hate
Because
the beer rating.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
what-
it's something that people are like harping in on. It's like,
Let's talk about it.
if this beer is a 3 or a 3.5, like I don't want to try it.
Thank
and I'm
you.
like, you're basing your opinion off of strangers? Like, if
Can
this
I-
stranger told you that your car was ugly, would you sell your fucking car? Like,
Here's the thing.
no.
Here's
like,
the thing. Here's the thing. I've been saying about this for a long time now. People look at me like I'm crazy. I'm glad you said it. And I didn't coerce him. This is
No.
all.
Yeah, no.
So I've been yelling for the last few months, and I stopped saying it because people kept looking at me like I'm crazy. I hate beer ratings,
Yeah.
and I hate the rating, the rating system that the culture builds around it,
Yeah.
right? So, okay, people have their preference of taste, right? There's two things I hate about beer ratings. One, people drink a beer that they don't like just to say I don't like it and give it a negative review.
Okay.
Fuck that guy.
Yep.
Or woman, or whatever you want to be called. I don't know, but fuck that person. Number one. Number two is people look at the ratings and like, okay, this beer is rated less than a 4. I may not drink it. Oh, this beer is rated less than a 3.5. I won't drink it. You don't know that the average 3.5, that might be a 4.5 for you.
Yeah.
It might be less.
Yeah, based on what you like and what they don't like and all
but
that stuff.
you
Yeah.
don't know. And the same thing with like brewery ratings. Like when you overall like the beer ratings for a brewery, they're like, oh, I'm not gonna hate the brewery because the overall ratings are not. It's not my standards. But you don't know, man. Go check it out, man. Go check it out.
No, I think that's like, I think it, Untapped, looking at you Untapped, I will call you out on this one. Make it more like Facebook adjusted their rating profile. If you like it, cool, leave a review. If you don't like it, don't say anything. Like, it doesn't always need to be positive about everything. I totally understand people wanting to express opinions, bad reviews, all that kind of shit. But for a rating app for beer, if a fucking 1 month old, a person who's been in beer for 1 month wants to try a hazy IPA or wants to try a West Coast IPA and they're like, I don't like this because I came from drinking like big like light lagers and easy drinking or even like going up to like Guinness level where they're like, hey, Guinness is like the ultimate stout for them. Like, that's rad. Like, cool, you're like exploring and you want to try more. Like, I don't want to base my opinion or I don't want to see your shitty review, a 1 star or 1 cap, whatever they call it, on some like, what is it? 1050 from Oscar Blues. Like, I don't want to see your opinion of a 10% beer if you've only been looking at beers for a month now. Like, cool, if you don't like it, shut your mouth. Tell your friends, word of mouth spreads,
keep it
and
private.
make it social. Yeah, like
my whole thing is like, okay, listen, my thing for Untapped, if you had like a private setting, that my personal rating that I'll keep for myself doesn't have to affect the overall rating for the brewery, then I could be honest
Yeah.
for me and my friends.
yeah, and it's about what you and you like.
Yeah.
And people who follow you could say, hey, even still, like I feel like that whole rating 1 to 5, like I feel like your friends is still very much an influential kind of thing. and I don't think that that's healthy for like growing markets or even established markets. Is like, you don't need a bunch of people who have never had beer and a bunch of people who love beer to go back and forth, and everything then averages out between a 3.5 and a 3.75.
Yeah, no, that's
And-
just so dumb.
yeah,
Like I said, if it was just a set, like you could have a public profile or just a general profile that you could rate the beer. If you want to be private, you could make it established private, but you can have your own rating, so people, your friends, could look at it as private. Oh, cool, my friend rated this, but the average rating is this. Let me text my friend. Oh, Roman said this about this new beer that popped out of Houston. Oh, he gave it a 3.5. I'll put a comment. Hey, Roman, tell me a little bit more about this beer. Like, what do you like and didn't like about it? And then should I go check it out for myself? Well, Vic, I know you pretty well. I think you might like this more than I do, and this is the reasons why. Or, hey, this is not a style you tend to like, so I definitely wouldn't say give it a try, but you might try other beers from this brewery.
Yeah.
You know?
So like, what if you even take it more simple and you say, do you like it, yes or no, and why?
Yeah.
Do you like this beer? Yes. What did it taste like? What do you taste? Cool. Do you like this beer? No. Okay, cool. Why? I don't like sours. I don't like this. I don't like that. Cool. Now ratings are no longer dependent on numbers. It's dependent on like why you didn't like something. So it forces people to like
I like that.
communicate.
No, I like that
And
idea a
then
lot
yes,
more.
I did like this. So like people who know me say, hey, like I taste pineapple, I taste citrus, I taste tropical fruit. They're like, oh, I like that. Like I want to try this. So like, cool. Like how do we simplify it? Humans have this need to categorize everything like hyper critical about everything, and it's like
Put everything
it's
in boxes,
music industry, it's beer, it's not a New England IPA, it's a hazy IPA, it's a juicy. I get it. Like,
like
human
putting
beings
things in
need
boxes,
that.
yeah.
Like at the same time, like if you find somebody to simplify it and say, do you like it or not?
No, I'm gonna start you saying that.
And then
really,
why? Like,
I
you-
really like that because you take away the rating systems. You could say yes or no, and then you can see it pinned on your page saying, okay, he liked this beer.
Because ... or he didn't like this beer, or she didn't like this beer because ...
And then-
now you're forcing people to like learn to communicate why.
Exactly.
Where Untapped is like a very vague. It's vague in general. It says, hey, 0.5 stars, no rating, no review, no nothing. If you force people to say yes or no, and why, it makes people think about why they do or don't like things, which is like I think more constructive
When you have to
feedback
leave a
for a
comment,
brewer.
when you have to leave a comment, in general, I think when you have to leave a comment, it's not just accepting I don't like it. You have to give reasons.
Yeah, like why don't you like it? And if you say I just didn't like it, cool, it gets deleted, it gets flagged and is gone.
Yeah.
Like that's an irrelevant review. Like because you didn't like it, because you didn't like it. No, learn to use your words. Like we're adults. Everybody's 21 plus in this industry. Like you know how to communicate. Like use your words.
What is the reason-
What does it taste like to you? You don't like sour. It's too astringent. It's bitter. Or I don't taste this.
I don't like this hops. They described it as. You know, I'm not a big fan of this hop. So as I'm drinking this, I realize they're using this hop, and I look at the beer bills of it. I'm like, okay, yeah, they are. So this hop is not my fan.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of this beer. Whatever, how you want to break down, easy to explain it. This is the reason why I stopped using rating systems.
Yeah, I stopped on tap too. Like I have no desire to
I've
use it
never
anymore.
done
Like,
on tap. We logged it
It's
in.
addictive for a while. Like back in the day, I used to use it all the time.
Well,
but yeah, nowadays
when I
not anymore.
downloaded, so when I did the podcast and I changed it to be more beer oriented, I downloaded everything I needed to do, like Untappd and stuff like that, and digital pour, everything. I downloaded everything I needed to have to be involved and understand it. And then when I looked at Untappd, it immediately gave me flashback as Yelp.
Okay,
I'm like,
yeah.
fuck that. Because I come from the service industry. Like I hate Yelp. I hate Yelp with a passion.
Yelp reviews, yeah, it's bullshit.
It's the most bullshit thing in the world. So I'm like, when I download the app, I register it, so you can still find Dallas Beer Talk on there. We don't use it.
Yeah.
But you can see us on there, and I would never check a beer in. I would never, because the moment I looked at it, I was like, hey, flashback to Yelp. I'm like, no. And that's how, like, people, I talk to people about it, it's just beer review Yelp. That's all it is. Beer Pacific.
We just needed a designer, a software engineer now to create a platform that says, hey, let's import all these beers from like Untappd, and like let's put it as a yes, no, and why system, and create. Let's create a new app. Like
I like that system. Like I'm checking this beer in. Did you like it? Yes or no?
Yep.
No. Okay.
Why?
Explain.
Yeah, and if we're like, I think that it gives people the option, and if you don't want to check it in, you don't have to check it in.
No.
And I think like the social media aspect of it is like, it's the same thing with Facebook now.
but
Like
at
you can't
least-
leave a negative review on Facebook. Do you like it or not?
Yeah.
And if you like it, you can tell people why, or you just say, hey, does not recommend, and that's it.
But the thing about that, what it forces, what it really does, what it helps is like, hey, you dropped a new. I'm sorry, I'm saying sours. I know people love sours, but I'm just going on with your analogy. You dropped a new sour. This is the reason why I don't like this sour. What you're doing is, if you give feedback, allows the brewery
100%.
to
100%.
look at that and say, okay, we're getting more of this same negative review consistently. Let's look at our
too sour,
our
too
bills.
sour, too sour, too sour, and nobody is saying, hey, it's just sour enough. Like, oh, cool, like maybe it's time to make an adjustment.
Or, well, if you could write a little bit more saying too sour. If it's too sour, that's easy to say. But if you could allow yourself to explain Why? It gives the brewer a chance. I'm like, okay, I really like this build, but obviously my community doesn't like this build. Let's tweak it.
Yeah.
Let's go version 2.0 or 1.1. Let's try it.
Yeah.
So
what does it do?
Yeah.
Because it could be your next biggest beer.
Yeah.
Like that's Tubbs doing DDH. Like what if we double dry hop IPA and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden out of nowhere we're like, have you guys tried this? Like this is like we tapped up in Fort Worth. I remember the day specifically, sitting in the little corner of Fort Worth, like with Rick and a bunch of our regulars hanging out, and we just tapped it up on a whim, and we're like, hey, like let's check it out. And Rick tries it, and he looks at me, he's like, have you tried this yet? I'm like, no, like we just tapped it. What's it taste like? He's like, dude, you need to try this now. And immediately upon trying it, I'm like, holy shit, like there is something way different about this.
Yeah.
There's, nobody else doing this right here. And immediately was like on the phone with everybody at Tubbs. Like James was the rep at the time. I'm like, dude, I want more. How do we get more? What else is coming?
Yeah. No,
like-
I love it, but it allows you to talk more. You know, my favorite DDH is DDH 6, the Sour Peach.
Okay.
The most hated one.
Really?
Most people,
Dang.
I bring that up, people are like, I hated that one. I was like, I love it. Even the brewer hated that one. I was like, I love
Dang.
it.
See, I think I was all about 2 and 3, and then 11 has been. I liked 9 a lot, but I think 11 has been my new favorite.
It.
Like
11 is killing it. 8 was pretty good for a while for me, but 6, the Sour Peach one, the variants of it.
Yeah.
Until they bring it back, I'm gonna keep talking about it. That's the most disliked DDH from just not from Untapped. Sorry, Untapped. From just talking to people, I can find no one else who liked it, but I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I sent some to my little brother up in Chicago, and like he was all about it too. Like I think it's cool though. Like we're sitting here talking about one beer, different hop profiles for all these different batches,
Yeah.
different variants, all that stuff, and we literally listed off like 5 of like the 15 that they've done.
Yeah.
Like 30% of that, and it's like we're all positive. Like yeah, some people have negative opinions on it, but like that's all positive right there.
But see, even with the negative opinion, they're like, okay, there's a peach doesn't come. Like they have reasons why when I'm talking to people why they don't like the sour peach version of it. They, especially the brewer, he's like, like when he said when he did the build for it, he had one expectation for it because of course he's making the build, and then when it came out, it kind of fell short of his expectations. So that's why he was like, oh, I wasn't a big fan of that because it fell short of what he expected. Now, it wasn't a bad beer. People who still drink it never say, oh, that DDH6 was probably the worst made beer they ever made. No, it was a well-made beer, but either you like the sourness of it, especially with the peach back to it, or you didn't. That's completely fine.
Yeah.
But no one said, oh, that's the worst made beer Tubbs has done. No one never said that.
Yeah.
It was a well-made beer, but you either like the sourness with the peach
for
back.
some people and not for others.
Yeah, exactly. Which,
That's what I like about beer. Is like it is very transparent, and it's you like what you like and you don't like what you don't like, and there's no
Facts.
you don't have to like something just because somebody else likes it.
yeah.
There are people that fall into that category, like feeling obligated to like things. But like I respect the people who are willing to stand up and say, no, you know what, I don't really like this, it's not for me. And they
Yeah.
have that justifiable, like, this is why.
Beautiful conversation we had because honestly, one thing I'm surprised about, we agree on a lot of the same things, and it's beautiful to have that common ground.
Yeah.
You know, it's just I really enjoy the beer community. Can it be better? Can we do better things? Of course, but even with the few things that we both don't like, there's very few and far between, man.
Yeah.
90% of people in the craft beer industry, drinkers, producers, or even reps, like they're great people, man.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. Like I have made more lifelong friends inside of the industry than the people, like some of the people that I grew up with. Like I still maintain contact, but it's
Yeah.
not like, it's not the same level of connectivity anymore. Like
Yeah.
you're surrounded by these people in the industry, like they become like friends and then closer friends and then best friends and then like I'm being invited to like weddings and like I'm groomsmen and stuff like that. Like it's a very like, that tight-knit community is like rad, and it's just like, it becomes part of the family. And I think that's
Yeah.
like, you hit the nail on the head, is like, there are a lot of really good people, not only involved in the industry, but like every aspect of the industry is just
People
like,
who come into like the place that they like to drink at, will be a brewery or a place like this, Taps and Caps. Like you come into a place that you frequent and the consumers are nice, the people are nice, 90% of it's nice.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I will till I'm proven wrong or I feel like there's a change in it. I think the DFW beer community is the best, from the consumers to the representation of people making it and everything between. You know, I think they're the absolute best. And I love it, you know, and I want to see more success of it. And I'm just trying to, that's why I harp on people making better commercials like you are. You're making good commercials, which they are commercials for Taps and Caps, but showcasing beers that's coming to Taps and Caps.
Yeah.
So by proxy, the breweries that you do support here are getting recognition.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just a commercial. It's a
Well, and what's cool is like, it's a difference of like a modern commercial versus like an old school commercial. Like old school commercial, like Marlboro or even Coke or Pepsi is like, hey, drink our product, it's the best.
Yeah.
I don't have one product. I have 50 on tap at all times, plus bottles and cans to go in for, where it's like, there's all of these different products. So like, it's never about Lone Star. Like, I shouldn't say never. Right now, it's not about Lone Star making commercials. It's about what beers are available, what do they taste like, and what you should be trying if you like that style.
You make it well.
I think that's where it is. It's broad.
I agree with you. What I'm thinking is just number one, it's always Lone Star Tap and Cats first and foremost.
Because that's who's posting it.
But that's the brand.
Yeah.
But it's not like you can only buy this at Lone Star Tap and Cats. What you're doing is making it appealing from the beer that people are making.
And giving them a location to find it.
The location to find it. But if I like a beer, let's say you did a bomb ass false idol commercial with Trust Fund Baby, which is strawberry beer, and false idol was open, but you made the commercial promoting Lone Star Tap and Cats, or the location where you could buy Trust Fund Baby. But if I like it that much,
You're not going to drive to Taps and Caps. You're going to drive to
but
False Idol.
I may have discovered it through Taps and Caps.
Yeah.
But if I want to know more about False Idol,
You're gonna go find it.
There's a
Yep.
location to go to. If there's an out-of-state beer that you do, there's a commercial, and that's why I want more people to do commercials.
Yeah. It's a conduit to like finding more in different beers.
Getting
Yeah.
into the funnel of why I love craft beer, and the more people funnel into it, the better.
Yep.
It's just so many different good beers nationwide. I'm not gonna say international because I'm not sure. I've had too many international, like small batch beers, because we all have the big name beers coming from Europe. But I don't know. They might be doing craft beer on that side too. But just United States side, North America side, Canada and stuff like that, they're making some bomb ass beers. And if you make a commercial supporting your locations, like you could buy it, and people decide that, oh, I love this Canadian beer that you guys did a commercial for. Now I'm gonna put that on my list just in case I ever go there.
Yep.
I know where I'm going.
Yep.
Or look about that region, like, oh, there's other breweries that make similar things. I might check those out too.
Yeah, I don't expect anybody to drive from like the heart of Dallas to Louisville or to Fort Worth to find this beer. Now, if they look for it and they can't find it, message us, text us, call us, whatever they want to do, like they can.
Yeah.
But it's
also follow
it's
on social media,
information.
like he just said. If you see one of their commercials that you like, and you're in the heart of Texas, 2 hours plus away, first of all, if you can, make it out. But if you can't, email them. They can find something closer to you. Help you find something close to you. But with those commercials, I'm telling you right now, what I was gonna do is set a trend for other people to do it, and more people support themselves. Like, you can support yourself doing the commercial, because it is supporting yourself. But it's not saying you can only buy it here, or fuck everybody else, you can buy it here first.
no.
It's what it is that, hey, it's a good beer. I'm showcasing how excited you are about this beer.
Here's what it tastes like. Here's what it looks like.
And give you visuals of what it tastes like,
Yeah.
and say, you know what, I'm gonna go to my local spot and try it,
Yep.
because that's a badass commercial.
Yep.
And if you like that brewery, or that beer from that brewery, you might go check that brewery out.
Yep.
You know, it's just a
Dude,
process.
I hope more and more places start to do stuff like this, and like, because like what it does is it breeds that like that competitive nature in people to be like, hey, like so and so made this video, like I want to make it better, which
Yeah.
then makes somebody else look at it and be like, well, I want to be better than both of them, and I'm going to do my own thing. And that's like, I mean, I hope people catch on, and I hope people like take it with heart and say, hey, listen, like I want to focus on what I love. Like all the videos that I shoot, I keep hitting the mic. I want to focus on like the beers that I love, or my staff loves, or like the team and like Rick and everybody, like when they love it enough to like talk passionately about it, those are the ones we're doing these videos on. Those are the ones that like we're pushing and saying, hey, like check this out.
If I was here, if I was working for Lone Star, I would be yelling at you guys right now. We need to do the Pluto.
Dude, the new one is the Rainbow Sherbet from Sherbet. Like I get yelled at right now because I keep calling it Sherbet. They're like, it's Sherbet. No, it's Sherbet. But that Rainbow Sherbet from Prairie legitimately smells like straight up dessert.
Yeah.
It smells like you bought a container and you put a spoon in it and you put it in your mouth and you're like, why? Why does this taste so identical?
No, but if I swear to God, if I worked here and I had any way to keep yelling at you and Rick, I'm like, that Pluto.
You got my
from
phone
Celestial-
number, just start texting. Just
Bro.
like, bro, make a commercial for this one.
Whoa, a frozen Pluto is the greatest thing in the world. You put that shit in the freezer for 5 hours. Don't let it overnight because it gets
I
too
saw
hard.
that online. Yeah, I saw that.
I did it, because I had like 6.
You did it on accident or on purpose, the
No,
first one?
no, I did it on purpose, the
Okay,
first one.
nice.
But I thought I staggered them over hours so I could go to the pool. So I have a
Okay.
bunch of Stein glasses at the house. So I just put my Pluto in the Stein glass, put them all in the freezer, and I staggered them. I
Nice.
grabbed one, I already put one in there, and I'm just hanging out by the pool, eating my Pluto. but I had left one overnight. That's why it looked all crystallized
Yeah,
and foamed over. That's because I left it overnight. I was like, I forgot one. Let's take a picture.
I had one too many and I forgot the last guy.
I
Yeah.
forgot one. But that Pluto is by far. I'm not a big fan of sour beers. I'm turning on that leaf on it, like everything else, because there's variants of sours and there's a lot of different beers. So I'm turning that leaf of I like this variance of it. But talking to George and hanging out with him, drinking that beer, that's my favorite sour IPA. As an absolute favorite. Like I got like how much I have at the house? I have like 20 cans left at the house.
Dang, nice.
Bro, my whole bottom of my fridge is
Just that
Pluto.
beer? But that's
Just
what
Pluto.
happens when you love a beer. Like,
Man,
that's how it should be too.
me and
It should be
my-
like, if you love a beer, buy it.
My friends come over. My friend Diego spent like $100 at Celestial. Never been Celestial before.
It's hard to not spend $100 when you go to Celestial, to be honest. Like,
Well,
that place
buying-
is very hard to walk out of without something case size
But
in your
buying
hand.
one beer, like we got there when it came out. So I went out there for the release of
Okay.
Pluto, and I just to support George. I bought a few cans. I liked it, and I dropped off. We were just hanging out. It was a good beer. I got home, put it in the fridge, let it sit for a week, and then my friend came over. And we both drank it again. I was like, I like it. I liked it. Let it sit for after the first week it was made. Like, let it sit for another week.
Perfect drinking time. Yeah.
God,
Nice.
I drank it. My friend's like, can we still buy this? I'm like, oh yeah, we can.
We're going now, yeah.
And he spent $100. I spent $100, and then George was nice enough to give me another 4-pack, and then I
Nice.
spent another $100 on buying the beers. Listen, it's the bottom of my fridge right now, just full of Pluto, and I
Good.
absolutely love it because I've been
Oh,
putting
yeah.
it in the freezer ever since. And shout out to Jerry for teaching me that technique. Putting the beer you like in the freezer so you can hang out by the pool. Oh my God.
Yep.
It's the best.
I think that's like, I think George, like both George and Rael being added to like Celestial's team in general, like they both bring very different facets of the same industry to like that brewery.
I've met her, but I don't know her.
No, Rael is rad as fuck. Like hanging out with like her and George and Matt. Like the last couple times we've gone down to brew, like doing these collabs together. Like I know we were talking about like this collaboration coming up too. Like George, like with the sours that he was doing on a homebrew level, I think is what
killing it.
dude. I think that's what really sparked like the idea of doing this collaboration together. Was like I'm like man, like they did this sour that was like. It was watermelon Jolly Rancher sour mixed. I think there was a couple other candies he had in there.
But that was the tits.
Dude, and that's why I told him, I'm like, dude, now that you're at
You know
Celestial,
where we had it at, right? You had it at the Fort Worth location.
Really?
Me and Drew had it there.
Nice. I tried it over here when he brought a can. Him and Myra came by and brought cans. I'm like, dude, I can't get enough. Like, so when he was at Celestial and he's like, hey, I'm starting there now. Like, I'm volunteering. I'm like, listen, if you ever want to do a sour, if you have that availability, like, please let me do that candy sour with you. Like, I want to do something crazy like that.
Well, you need to keep me posted when you guys get that release because I will be there making a vlogging episode of it.
July 3rd.
July 3rd?
July 3rd, we're having the party here in Louisville.
That's a Monday, right?
It's a Wednesday. It's the Wednesday before 4th of July.
What's 4th of July? Tuesday?
4th of July is a Thursday.
God damn it.
Yeah.
I did a T.
So yeah, so there's two 4th of July weekends. So like we've got a big sale going on for Founders the weekend before like the 28th through the 30th. But then the 3rd we launched the Celestial collab. It's a 3-part collab, 3 beers, completely different. It's the launch of the Lunar IPA. We'll have up here. We've got 2 of like the sours that like George and Matt and Rael have been working on. We're doing I don't know how much I'm supposed to say or what I can, but whatever.
Say as much as you want because it'll be out. This will be out the week of.
That's true, yeah.
that beer.
So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. If I'm right, you need to be here. Strawberry marshmallow fruited sour. Strawberry marshmallow. And then blue raspberry candy sour. We will have a flight that is red, white, and blue with a special glass from 12% Drip. So we're working
3
on
beers. You're coming out with 3 beers.
3 beers at once, and it's launching it's to help launch their new series of rocket ship style beers that are like fruited and flavorful, different style of like lightly tart and sour style beers. So like they'll have them. They'll have like I think we're just going with like straightforward like blue raspberry candy rocket ship. And I think we're going strawberry marshmallow rocket ship. That's just like
Strawberry marshmallow is killing me.
dude, very straightforward. And it's like we're super excited. Like we pitched the idea of doing 4th of July. Like
It's
hey,
the
like, if we're gonna do
like,
it,
you
let's
have
do
like
3.
It's the strawberry marshmallow 1 beer.
Yep.
And it's gonna be a.
It's a 1 fruited sour. I think they're more excited on that one, and I am like beyond excited for candy sour because trying George's like doing it at Stellar, like when they did that first one.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like I would buy this at scale. And
I only
taste
had
for
a
it.
sliver of it and I liked it, and that was my first like, okay, maybe there's parts of sours I can't like. And me and George had a long conversation about it because the style of the type of yeast that he's doing for sours that is quicker.
That Kvik yeast. Yep.
It's it helps out a lot to where I like, you know what, that style of yeast that's and he said himself, it's not as complicated as the yeast that they say Barry Tillman may use, but I like that it's quicker to the point, and I like it, and it's not killing me in the back of my throat.
Yep.
Now, if I drink 10 Plutos, I'm having heartburn because of that shit.
For sure. Yeah.
It's a lot of sour.
I feel like 10 of any beer, like that's not Pilsner, lager, straightforward, easy and crisp and dry, like giving us heartburn.
Yeah, but I absolutely love it. But I mean, that's exciting. Listen, I'm excited. I don't know Matt on a personal level. I met George, and I want like to call George a friend. If you call me friends, comment below. Stella Craftworks. No, I think Myra, his wife, and him, I think they're phenomenal people. I absolutely love them.
Absolutely.
And the moment I met George, I knew he was going to be a phenomenal person on the podcast, and which he is. He's so passionate about beer. You can feel the passion. Matt, he has the same energy towards Matt, and he says Matt's the same way. So I have love for Matt, even though I don't know Matt. I met Matt.
That's everybody down there. That's all three of them in that brew house side. They're all like super passionate, driven people, and it's like it's rad to see them like in their environment. They're all just like crisscrossing, moving past each other, they're all communicating. They know what's going on. Like it is like. It is one of like the best environments that like when we brew collabs, like it's a lot of fun. Like we're out there like 9 a.m. Like there's a lot of drinking going on a lot of those days. And like if you're like polishing off pints of Apollo 11, like that's my favorite beer. Like that's the beer I want to drink pints of over and over again. Like if you're starting at 9, like by the time noon hits, everybody's hungry. We're like, dude, like we're all buzzing. Like this is fun. Like let's keep doing it. But all of them are just like they're dialed in. Yeah. No matter how much we drink or talk, like they're dialed in.
I want like. Just hearing how much respect that George has for them, and how much I knew passionate George is about beer.
Yeah.
Just to hear the respect, and now I forget the woman brewer's name. Riel. So apologize, Riel. I'm sorry. Bad with names. Riel, but he has the same like energy towards talking about them. So I would love to get all three of them on the podcast and just talk to them, just about the process of how they work together. But it's just exciting. 2 young brewers. They've done it in different avenues.
That's 3. All 3. She came from a brewery too, out in North Carolina.
But that's who I was talking about.
Oh,
I wasn't
talking about
Matt.
Okay, you're talking about. Well, I mean, Matt coming from Malai and everything too.
Yeah, but is he young though? Is it?
Bro, all of us are young, bro. Come on.
Whoa.
We're all young right now.
Fair enough.
Hey, yeah, until you hit like 70, 80, 90 and you're like becoming immobile, like you're still young.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? You're right.
Matt doesn't have white hair. Matt doesn't have a fucking walker.
Matt
like,
has a newborn baby. Not newborn baby.
Yeah, 2, and they're all young. Like everybody there is like
and Matt,
young and
first
hungry.
of all, also what a quick shout out to Matt's wife. She's the best.
Molly's amazing. Yep.
I don't know her, but I've met her several times. That absolute nicest woman. Now, she could be not the nicest person in the world. I doubt it. I extremely doubt it. But just the handful of experience I have with her, she's respectful, she's intuitive, she's engaged into the people in line, and she's focused, and she's the best. I love her to death.
I think their whole atmosphere and their whole vibe, it breeds positivity, which is like what draws me to go down there and to hang out and to want to like to talk about collabs.
Well,
like if George wasn't the way he was, like the collab may have never happened. Like
same here.
It's that same mentality of like you recognize like that whole recognize real mentality is like you see that in somebody and you feel that versus just like people can fake it, but ultimately the true character shows.
Man, it's gonna come out.
I think with them it's
like,
very different.
If you're gonna fake being nice, the asshole's gonna peer through. If you're gonna fake, like there's a lot of things fakery. This is the thing. You know what? How I respect Celestial, because when Celestial first dropped, they had all IPAs on New England style IPAs on, and I'm like, I'm not a big fan. I mean, I like them,
but it's not. It's not your go-to.
I'm not gonna go to a brewery for that.
Yeah.
But every person after Celestial opened up, from Sean to Sydney to Dom to everybody else between Jerry, like everybody, all my friends who I trust in the craft beer industry, like you gotta go check them out.
That's just the truth. Go.
Gotta check them out. Yeah, and then when I did check them out, like this year, and they have been open for a year.
Yeah.
What, 8 months, 7 months they've been open? Like, people stood behind them, respected them, and they were honest about them. They said, you gotta go check them out, and I've not been disappointed. And then having George here, which I knew he was a great brewer, home brewer, being there, and then Rael.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rael. I apologize. I don't know much about her, but George respects her and absolutely trusts her opinion, and I respect that. And then he says the thing about Matt, and I don't know Matt, and like everybody loves Matt, so I'm gonna respect that. I trust their opinion, and they're making some banger ass beers. So super happy with such. And then it's just funny to know that the two biggest, most popular breweries right now are less than 2 years old. You got Turning Point, who just turned a year. Celestial's gonna turn a year this year. So I'm like, this is insane.
I'm ready for Tubbs. Tubbs will be that. I think Tubbs is going that direction. Like, I think
Tubbs
they'll be
is-
the next one that's got a line out the door.
Tubbs, well, here's the thing.
Like
about
that barrel-aged full-grown man. Like, we've talked to them a couple of times about doing some fun stuff with them, like both IPA and
that red
Southside. But
wine
like,
one, I like the red wine one they did. That was phenomenal. They do a lot of good things with full-grown Jack, which I've been talking about full-grown Jack for a while. But even with the DDA series, they changed up. The DDA series that they're doing now, the variants of it, I think it's fucking phenomenal too. Because they could, every year, they could, as they keep dropping every few months, they could drop experimental hops and new hops and change it up.
At their 4-year anniversary, like we tried probably 6 or 7 different variants of juice pack and DDH with different fruits and everything in it. Dude, like instantly you could tell the feedback. Like the plum and the blackberry were like, holy shit, like, this is amazing. Then they had a birthday cake for putting whipped cream and sprinkles on the top of like the pour of beer. I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, that's not the reason I went out there, but like when I'm here, like hell yeah, I'm gonna have it. Like we're like, oh, we'll hang out for an hour or two, and 5 hours later, we're like, we really need to go. Like, like we're having too much fun now. But that's I'm excited to see like Tubbs on the come up.
903 is trying new things.
That Beer Mosa, man. I was hanging out with Brittany last night in Fort Worth. Like I talk about this Beer Mosa. We've done video for Beer Mosa. I've done pictures on my personal pages and stuff like that for Beer Mosa. Like that beer to me is the embodiment of a mimosa in the craft beer eye.
Together.
And I like talking to Brittany last night. I was like, man, like if this was in Deep Ellum, like at all these brunch spots like Stir and stuff like that, where people are hyped up on it, dude, it's like for the price of the keg of Beer Mosa versus like a case of champagne and a case of orange juice. You're going with less alcohol, with less cost, and you can do bottomless mimosas with craft beer version, but like you're the only beer there. There is no competition for a Beer Mosa because you're the only Beer Mosa. It is it's an area of the industry that's
exciting. No, it's exciting.
And
Listen,
like I dig the shit out of that beer. Like
so do I. Listen, I only had a sample of it, and from that sample, I'm like,
I told Jeremy like stone cold at their anniversary, the 6th anniversary, I'm like, dude, put all of the money you can into Beer Mosa. Like, make this your summer beer because like this shit will blow up. And it is like,
or put yourself
it.
with the focus at brunch places. Hey, try this beer.
Oh yeah, that's what Brittany and I were talking about yesterday. She's like, we're doing a brunch here. Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything, but like they're teaming up with like places down there like to do a badass brunch. I'm like, that's perfect because like that is what that beer is. It's like
it's definitely a brunch beer. It
Dallas
should be a
loves
brunch.
brunch. Basic people love brunch
damn
too.
it.
So like, let's
I'm
bring
so
craft
tired
beer
of
to like
hearing-
basic too. Like,
I'm
fuck it.
facts. Listen, you want to get more people to craft beer, and I think being basic with everybody else is a good thing.
You'll see him on a Sunday morning with like bags under my eyes, but I will be there eating brunch, all my eggs and like on my English muffins, like eggs Benedict style. But
I
like,
am not a brunch guy.
Really?
I am not.
Man.
I only do it because my friends. Sometimes I got friends out of town. Like, let's go to a brunch. I heard this badass is a badass brunch. All right, man.
Oh no, I mean like I love brunch. Like I make brunch by myself, like for people coming over or just hanging out by
I make
myself.
lunch?
Yeah, I make
Breakfast
breakfast lunch.
lunch.
Breakfast lunch. Yeah.
Listen,
But it's
I'm just
also like the new thing for me is like I don't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat for like the last year plus, and it's one of those things for me that it's like, how do I take the foods that I used to love and like eat all the time and make them into something that is like what I want now? And
Are
like,
you vegetarian or vegan?
vegetarian, 100% vegetarian. Like, I don't eat any meat, no seafood, nothing like that. But I'm not 100% vegan. Like, I still love my eggs. Like cheese here and there, but like eggs for me, like that's like my breakfast food. That like I haven't found I haven't found a suitable replacement either.
Well, it's a good source of protein with fat involved too, so you still getting the things you need if you're eating vegetables. Listen, I'm not
That and beer. Like I don't think I could give up beer. To go 100% vegan, I don't think I can go give up beer.
I quote Rick all the time. Rick works out hard. He says, I'll give up any kind of meal I want, but I will not give up beer.
100%.
And I quote that motherfucker to the day he said it.
Yep.
And to the day I die, I'm quoting that motherfucker.
I would give up so many more things before I give up like
a beer.
drinking beer regularly. Like, I want to be able to drink whenever and wherever I want, and like.
And Rick lost a
be
lot
cool
of
with
weight.
that. Dude. Yeah, he's down like 60 plus pounds.
Yeah, but he was on a down when we met him a year ago.
Yeah.
And he's lost more weight since then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, it's insane.
That's all of us. Like we all gained weight like right around the same time. Like the first 2 years we were open, like me, Walker, Rick, like we were all like just ballooning the fuck out. And like Walker slimmed down and Rick slimmed down like crazy. And like I've slimmed down, like I've lost 25, 30 pounds now, where it's like,
congrats.
Man, like thank you, I appreciate it. But it's like, it's just tapering back. Like I don't need to chug. I mean, I will a 12% stout on a daily, but like going to 3 Nations, like immediately I'm like, Sydney, Abby, like, let's chug a beer on camera because like this is the first time we've all hung out together.
I saw you posted. That was a good video.
I forgot all about that. That was like at the beginning of the night too. I forgot all about it till somebody was like, Sydney tagged me in something, and I'm like, fuck, I have that video. I totally forgot to post it. I posted it up with like all of us. I'm like, hey, like while we're here, we're still sober. Like, let's do a chug video. Like, I see you guys doing it all the time. Like, I kind of want to see like where I stand up like in this whole thing.
No, so talk about Sydney and the whole beer page. They're the best. But yeah, that night was rough for a lot of people the next day. Listen, man.
Yeah. Saturday morning was like no bueno. Like, I was hurting. Everybody else I know, like, I didn't think it wasn't as bad as I expected, but it was still bad enough that it altered the course of my day. Where like I laid in bed till 7:30, and I'm like, I need to get up now.
I got up at 6 in the morning, not happy.
Yeah, I believe that.
Getting ready for a brew day, and I drank my coffee that morning. So shout out to Strange Brew. We're making an American wheat beer with peaches.
Okay, hell yeah.
Almost 9 pounds of the peaches.
Nice.
In a 5 gallon batch.
Shit.
No, 5 gallon batch.
Peach heavy.
Very peach heavy. I love peaches. Peaches is my favorite. I had a peach pie all day, every day at work. I love peaches. But we were brewing that. So the first like 3 hours of the brew, I'm into it. But then hungover hits, coffee dies.
You hit the wall, yeah.
And I was like, Jacob, Adriana, and the whole crew were like, "You okay, Vic?" I'm like, "Just let me know when you need to record. I'm ready. I'm just ready."
I'm just gonna stress my eyes over here.
100% with it. But on that note, man, we've been doing this for like 2 hours now.
Cool.
But before we get out of here, July, what events we're gonna plug?
We've got last weekend of June into the week of July. We've got Solid Gold Weekend with Founders. It will be the lowest price Solid Gold you will see anywhere in DFW. $9.99 12 packs at Beverages in Fort Worth. We've got $1.50 crowlers to go at both Taps and Caps in our 16-ounce cans. The week after, we've got Celestial Collab on July 3rd. We've got First Friday. Technically, Final Friday is that same weekend, the 28th here. We got a food truck. We teamed up with Founders for that one as well. So we'll have Get Fried Food Truck, Fry Cafe.
Oh, wow. All right.
So like first time we're bringing a food truck out. That following week, like I said, Celestial Collab. We've got First Friday out in Fort Worth. We've got JR's Barbecue and More coming out there. I met them doing a charity fundraising event with USS Fort Worth Committee.
Oh, wow.
And like they were out there serving up like legit barbecue. Everybody was talking about them, and I'm like, hey, I need your card. I need to bring you out to the shop. So we scheduled it out. They're coming out there First Friday. Second and third weekend of July is Christmas in July time. You'll see something coming then. And then again, like going to the last week of July into August, like some fun stuff coming up. The one thing we haven't announced yet, so you'll be the first to know about it, the entire month of July, we're focusing on all local, 10 taps, numbers 1 through 10, will all be $10 or less for 64 ounces to go. So
I'll be getting up some growler fills.
Growler fills, crowler fills. You get a 4-pack for $10 or less the entire month of July. We've teamed up with 10 breweries.
The first weekend,
9 to 10 breweries. Yeah. No, it's a whole month of July. We're doing it.
July.
Yeah. So it's the first time we've ever committed like permanent tap handles for a 30-day time period. Say, listen, like we're gonna bring in different beers. Whenever the kegs blow, we put on something different. So like tap number 1, like shout out to Walker, Joel, Todd, everybody over at Oak Cliff. Like they got number 1. Like Hef and Lager, 2 of my favorite beers. Like their Lager, like I will crush the shit out of that beer. Like they have tap number 1, and like it starts 30 days, July 1st.
Listen, I'll tell you this. I told you earlier in podcasts, I'm not a big fan of Hef. It's a good Hef. It's a good Hef.
In my personal opinion, like it is the one that's going to take Big Bend, is going to take like Live Oak since we don't get it anymore. Like if people aren't trying the Oak Cliff Hef, like that's what they're missing out on right now. Like for fans of the Big Bend, for fans of Live Oak, like since we can't get them now, Oak Cliff is where you need to go. Like now, again, I'm on the same page. Like I'm not crazy about Hefs, but damn, if that's not like the one that like I can taste the most similarity to like these
I'll be
better
lying
ones
to say that's not a good Hef. Like I'll be a hater, but like that's not a good Hef. That's a fucking phenomenal Hef, and I don't like Hefeweizens.
Yeah, that's
phenomenal.
I absolutely love those guys down there. Like they're big supporters. Like I'm a huge supporter of them and what they're doing. Like they got tap number 1. The next 9 taps, all local breweries. We're keeping it all Texas for all of July for those 10 taps, $10 or less. Come through. You can order beer online. Nobody else is doing beer online yet.
Nobody else is doing it.
Blows my mind, man.
Bro, listen, you're doing so many things no other people do it. That's why I wanted you on this podcast.
I want more people to like let people do it, make them do it. you tell them to do more. So like it makes me step my shit up.
I've
Because
been-
like
listen.
until I get challenged, like I'm like struggling. I'm like,
Bro,
hey, like I
I've
need
been
more.
yelling about
Yeah.
making badass beer commercials. I've been yelling about making more advertising friendly to both genders. Like, I'm not saying you have to pander to one or the other, but make an event that you want couples to come to. Make an event you want families to come to. Make an event that you promote and get out there that is like ladies' nights. You don't have to be like at ladies' nights every Thursday, but do something that get people in the door. Couples, families, singles. Like, listen, get everybody in the door. You grow the community, but make commercials about it.
Yeah.
Don't make a generic post with a stagnant picture of you just talking about the event.
Facebook and Instagram nowadays, like you and I talked about this a lot on Friday. I do remember those conversations. Like they have changed so much that it's like you can't just post and it's enough anymore. Like if you just post an event or you just post it one time, like it's not enough. Like there are so many other forms of like outreach and like to get people to know what's going
You gotta
on.
repost your event. You gotta make a commercial for your event with the link to go to that event page. You have to have promote the event constantly up into the event.
There's email, there's text, there's
My
Instagram,
biggest problem
Twitter.
is,
There's
my
so many
biggest problem is
platforms.
there's so many badass beer events in craft,
But just nobody knows.
and you don't know until the day of. Like, oh shit, I got the kids this weekend.
Yep.
Oh shit, I got plans with other people this weekend, and it's the badass beers dropping. And like, come on, man, like we gotta promote our shit.
And it's hard, like the way that social algorithms are working everything, like it's trying to like giving somebody time and dedication to learn those so like you can play by the rules. It's like trying to play Monopoly without knowing like the money values.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know the
Oh,
rules,
don't know
you
how to-
don't know how to do
move
it.
on a board, like,
yeah, like if you're
should
trying
I
to go
buy?
backwards on it, like you can't go to Boardwalk before you go to Oriental Avenue. Like it's just one of those things where like you have to know the rules that you're playing
Solid
by.
reference, by the way. That was a solid
Right? Yeah, I played a little Monopoly back in the day, right?
That was like a 10 for 10 reference right there.
It's like the more people learn, the more people are informed. Like that's why I keep pushing. Like that's why everybody who I talk to, like the same information to everybody. I'm like, hey, like we're doing online ordering. It's blatant. Like somebody else do it. Like expand this category.
The only
Like,
one in market within DFW. I think the only one in Texas.
I haven't seen anybody even out of state doing order your beer online, come and pick it up wherever. Like from a draft wall perspective.
no, this
like,
different.
like Craft Beer Kings, like mowing the dudes out there. Like huge shout out to those dudes. Like homies with Rick. Like they go way back. And it's one of those things like Craft Beer Kings is like killing it on that market of like ship to your front door. A bunch of wineries and meaderies can do it now too. Like they've been able to do it, but like it's catching up. Tavor,
Tabor.
yeah, Tavor, Tavor. I honestly have
Same
no
shit,
idea.
same shit.
Same thing, but it's like they're doing it, but like on a local level, like why is nobody doing this yet? Why is nobody like putting their
Right.
draft? Like everybody does crowlers.
You know, I forget that I can order my beer that I want. That you just tap like, hey, here's my order to pick up,
Thank
and
you.
then I come here and like pay for it. It's in the fridge right there.
yeah.
I forget about that.
And you can set your pickup time. If you order it like 11 a.m. when we open, you can pick it up at 10 p.m. Like we don't care when you pick it up. Like
No, but you
it's
lock down your beer.
convenience. Yeah.
Like I forgot about that because when we talked about the slushy beers earlier, or the beer liqueurs you did.
Yeah, the elixirs.
Elixirs,
Yeah,
liqueurs, the slushies, all the same shit.
yeah, it's the same. Yeah, they're essentially the same.
But I forgot that I could have pre-ordered them. I'm like, hey, the beer's tapping today. I want that order. Come pick it
As
up.
soon as you see it online, you order 2 or 4 cans, 32 ounces 2, 64 ounces 4 cans. You order it, you pay for it, forget it. It's yours. If we can't get it, we will call you. And that's where it's like that customer service level of like, hey, I can't get your beer. Do you want a different beer? Or are you dead set on this one? Or like, I'll just refund your card. Don't even come in if you don't have to. Like, it's
Yeah.
convenience. And that's like, for me, is like, if as a consumer, how do I want to buy my beer? If I'm busy on a Sunday, and I only have time to go to the grocery store, and then I just have 30 seconds to come in and grab beer, like, I can't wait in a line. Like, if somebody's got their kid or they've got their dog in the car, like, you can't just, like, afford to wait for 20, 30 minutes in a line or sit down while other people are doing their stuff. Like, cool, order it ahead of time, you set your pickup window, send husband, send wife, send somebody in to pick it up for you, and you're good to go. Like, I'm ready for somebody else to step up and, like, do something more than that. Like, what's the next level?
I'm just ready for more people to innovate like you guys are doing. I appreciate that.
I'm ready for it.
On that note, Roman, man, we can talk for hours.
Dude,
we
absolutely.
We're going to talk for more hours.
Yeah, I was
but
like,
we're
I'll
gonna-
just keep talking. So, cut me off. Like,
no,
tell
we're
me,
going to
stop
wrap this
talking, yeah.
podcast up. So on that note, follow Lone Star Taps and Caps on all location, Fort Worth, Louisville, even Lone Star Beverages as well. Link in the description. Brother, I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
We'll be there for the next event. I can't wait.
Fuck yeah. Cheers.
All right. You guys have a good weekend. Peace.